Hey guys, what's up? My name is Anthony, and welcome to another edition of B&A Sports Talk. So I just recorded this intro, then I had like a coughing fit randomly. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. But today we're doing another episode of B&A Sports Talk. We haven't done this in a while. Welcome back. I've done some like creative stuff over the past. We reached 1,000 subscribers. Almost forgot about that. 1,000 subscribers. I know it's not really big in the grand scheme of things, but I just want to thank each and every one of you for subscribing. And let's keep on continuing. I'm going to have some film reviews that are coming. I should get in like film review like moods. And I haven't been in that in a while, but I think it's coming. But yeah, so today I want to talk a little bit about the Giants. Because we've been in the news a little bit recently. Raquel Armstead got released. I always thought he was a third, fourth, just a depth guy. That would be interesting. I think he had to do something with his health maybe. We'll see. I believe he got picked up by a different team already. So that should be interesting. The Combine, apparently they're going to go to multiple places now. I don't think it's going to be held in MetLife Stadium because there's just a logistical problem having a dome if there's bad weather. Especially at that time. Actually, no, February. Yeah, it's going to be cold. So it's not going to happen. And yeah, so with that kind of out of the window, let's talk about the topics I want to talk about today. Sterling Shepard, by I think USA Today or somebody said it. Sorry for not crediting you. But Sterling Shepard would be a potential trade target at the deadline. Now, why do we trade Sterling Shepard? What would be the cause? It would be because Kenny Golladay is playing well. He's staying healthy. You have Dante Pettis maybe stepping up in a big role. John Ross is a little bit healthy. Our wide receiver core seems like it's amazing. It's great. Everything's working for it. And then Sterling Shepard still would have, at the end, 2 years left on his 4-year, $48 million deal. And we would save some money going into next year with Evan Ingram coming up for contract, Jabril Peppers, maybe some other free agent target. And it's just like, we have a plurality of wide receivers, which is a good thing. And we could still draft wide receivers if we really need it in the next draft. We could still go after a second, third round guy, potentially. So that'd be a good thing. So trading Sterling Shepard would be a good sign, the things to come. Toney is developing. And what Sterling Shepard was used a lot last year is what Toney would be used for, the jet sweep role. But there are also some negatives to actually trading him, not the signs of trading him. First of all, he's a valuable piece of organization. Daniel Jones had the 75% completion percentage against him when he was playing. Now, the thing is, he hasn't been playing. That's the thing. I don't think teams are going to use that much to his discretion or to his dismay or whatever word I'm trying to look for. I don't think they're really going to care about it that much, but 75%. And when he played with us over the past 2 years, he was 9-13 with us. And let me tell you, you haven't had that great records. Combined, we were, over the past 2 years, what were we? 10-22 or whatever the math works out to. So we had a higher winning percentage when he plays. Him and Daniel Jones have a good chemistry together. He knows where to be. He has a 1.1% drop rate. The dude is productive, and he would be a productive receiver leaving. Now, we had to get rid of Dalvin Tomlinson. You had to cut our losses, but you don't get rid of good players. We just signed him last year, and it's like, are we really going to get rid of a locker room guy who feels like he's connected to New York? I don't know, but if Toney is developing, all of a sudden he is not like a head case. He kind of has been, not that much of a head case, but Evan Ingram, we have weapons. We have the ability to get rid of him. Now, which teams would kind of trade for him? Because it's not just a one-way scenario. We would have to trade him somewhere. I think his value would be somewhat like a Mohamed Sanu. You have to get a second-round pick for him, right? Speaking about Mohamed Sanu, I think the Patriots would actually be a pretty good target for him. Now, the Patriots, wide receivers at deadline, it's not like a great thing. They may be looking for somebody else, but who do they don't really have anybody on their team like of note besides Nelson Aguilar. They had the guys step up for them last year, but they're nothing too sexy. N'Keal Harry, if he doesn't go. But you have two tight ends, Hunter Henry, and who else did they sign? Jonnu Smith, I believe. Then, they're tight ends. Then you have a long-term threat. You have a couple of deep guys there. The Patriots can use them. The Chargers, maybe, because you have Mike Williams leaving. Sterling Shepard's not a deep target, but it'd be somewhat interesting to have Sterling Shepard, Keenan Allen, and a couple other players like that on that roster. They don't have really that much of plurality of wide receivers. And plus, they could pay them. It's also an amount of paying, but you can always find money for people. The Vikings, Justin Jefferson, paired with Adam Thielen and Sterling Shepard in that offense, I think that could work out pretty well. And then you have Dalvin Cook. You take a look at that elite offense. That could propel them to that next step, especially, to fight against Green Bay. They're the only team they'll be playing against in that division that's going to, I think, be relevant at that time. The Colts, you have T.Y. Hilton that's aging, but you also have a young core, that Paris Campbell. I think his problem is injuries. His injuries problems. But you also have they drafted somebody this year, or Michael Pittman. That was last year. But you have some of those young guys. But Sterling Shepard could be a nice guy to help Carson Wentz excel them through a playoff potential run. The Dolphins, this one is kind of they just drafted Jalen Waddle. What am I thinking? Devontae Parker. But they don't really have that much depth as far as their wide receivers. I don't think really. But with adding him would be a great thing. You still have a connection to Brian Flores. And then the Lions, who basically have nobody at wide receiver at this point. So you never know. Just grab Sterling Shepard for a couple years. They're doing a rebuild, and I think that he can be important for their culture. But he's probably not going to enjoy playing there at all. And then the Ravens. You have Marquise Brown. You have a couple other guys like Mark Andrews. But you're kind of missing a slot guy a little bit there. You're kind of missing they have Rashad Bateman. I think they're missing a guy in the slot for Lamar Jackson to get to. I think that could be a pretty good addition. So those are a couple teams they can go to. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I think it would be a good thing. I think it would be overall a good thing. It just depends on where we're at that time. And then finally, I guess it's the second topic, Chris Sims made a comment about defenses. And I want to play that for you.
I think this is the next thing we're going to see on defense. Big up front. Yeah, I think you heard me say this a little last year. Big up front, hey, front four, or hey, we played a bare front and have 5 people. You guys worry about the fucking run. Mm-hmm. Second-level linebackers, I want the first 2 steps to be pass. Even if you see play action, I want it to be, let me take a step back before you run up to the hill and do something like that. I think there's going to have to be some thought of that, especially with a team like let's just say Buffalo, who would make them show me run the football first. Yeah. When they run the ball for 10 yards a few times on us, then, okay, fill the gaps and do that. Until then, they have Josh Allen, and they just want to throw a play-action pass. Right. They want to throw it deep. Go back first. We'll worry about their shitty run game with Devin Singletary and all that. Second, shut down corners, bigger up front, not so run-aggressive second-level linebackers.
So basically what he's saying is the Giants have a really good defense. Because if you don't have to worry about the run, if you get the run completely solved, done with yada yada, that's it, that's a really good thing because you get to put more people into pass coverage. The one thing is the Giants' pass rush isn't that great right now, we think. Is it mid-tier? Is it below mid-tier? What is it? We've added Azeez Ojulari, Adefi Odigbo, whatever how you pronounce his name. We have guys going to the second and third years now for pass rushers. So it allows much more flexibility in their secondary. The secondary, there's just so many people they can cover. The only thing you worry about is can James Bradbury tackle? Can Adoree Jackson stay healthy? You have little problems like that. But every single team has questions going into the year. Every single team. Even the Buccaneers secondary wasn't great, but they played well when it counted, and that's ultimately what matters in the end of things. But our linebackers, they can do some pass coverage. That's the reason why Tate Crowder, we have so much faith in him. We have a Jabril Peppers that could play that safety box role and that will linebacker role as well. We have those. That's exactly what the Giants have. And the thing is also, we have a good defensive coordinator who understands those things. It's not just we have all this talent in our defensive coordinators like James Betcher. Okay, he knows football, obviously, because that's why he's a coach. But how good are you relative to your peers? Patrick Graham, he's a top 10 defensive coordinator already, I think. Not already, but because he's been in the league a while. But he's a top 10 defensive coordinator, defensive mind in the league. And I think you could say that even if you're not a Giants fan. I think you got to admit that. We're a pretty talented team, and we have pretty good coaching who teach fundamentals, growing players, can defend the run, and that kind of sets up everything else. And also a bunch of depth in the secondary. Isaac Yiadom right now is our 4th best cornerback. Or 5th, maybe. That's good. 2 years ago, we had Janoris Jenkins, DeAndre Baker, and Grant Haley. And I was but now we have a lot of depth there. I think this spells good, especially for a modern defense. And this year, we're not going to have a lot of similar looks to last year. So it's not going to be one of those things where, the NFL catches up. It's not going to be like one of those things. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.